All right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I'm with Shaun Attwood, and Shaun Attwood has been on top. He's got his fingers on the pulse on the P. Diddy stuff, the Epstein stuff, the whole thing. Where I drop the ball, this guy picks it up, man. So, Shaun, dude, thank you for joining me.
Oh, David, thank you for having me back on.
Oh, I love having you on, man. I watch a lot of your shows. You're killing it. You have a huge channel, man. It's an honor to have you on my channel. So where do we even begin here? Because, I'm paying attention to a lot of the stuff. The narrative wars is what I like to call it. The narrative wars of the Obama Russiagate stuff's now popping wide open. You got Tulsi Gabbard handing it over to the DOJ. Whistleblowers are getting ready to come out at the same time. You got the Epstein list of dud, and now all fingers are pointing to Trump. What's going on here with that?
Trump has created an Epstein inferno. I think Virginia is probably dancing in her grave right now because the more they are trying to cover this up, the more attention they are attracting to it. Look at these montages of clips. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, even Trump himself. Over the years, we're going to get the list out. We're going to get all of the files out with hard drives, Epstein videos, the CP, all of this stuff. And then, bam, Epstein list doesn't exist. Jeffrey unalived himself. There was no conspiracy. There's nothing to see here. Move on. And if you ask us any questions about this creep, why can you even be interested in this 5 or 6 years later? It's preposterous. And it has set the internet on fire, David. We had Epstein's niece on this morning. It's already at 100K. We've got Ari Ben Menashe on tomorrow morning. He is formerly Israeli military intelligence. And Ari worked with Robert Maxwell during Iran-Contra. He was even incarcerated for Iran-Contra. And he said that Jeffrey was brought into this intelligence fold by Robert Maxwell, was introduced to his daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell. This was way back before the mainstream narrative. The mainstream narrative is that Ghislaine Maxwell was upset about her father's death. She went to America where she met Jeffrey. Absolute crock. We are talking about a huge network spying organization. Robert Maxwell, they are still trying to unravel the spider web to this day. He could sit down with the head of Israel, head of China, head of Russia, head of America, UK, Downing Street. He was in with the Mossad, MI5, MI6, CIA, and he did business with all of the different criminal families, the crime families of the Italian mafia to the Yakuza. It is mind-blowing what he did. He was found unalived off his yacht. The Lady Ghislaine, named after his favorite daughter because she was the one he had steeped into the intelligence community. And now we are being told by the party that is at power, who promised to release all these files, Epstein is not intelligence. Move on. There's nothing to see here. Absolute crock of shit. And
so what do you think? What do you think? Is there a method to the madness here? Do you think this is just a straight bird to his fan base, the MAGA movement? I mean, they have their pitchforks out and they're lighting the MAGA signs on fire right now, dude. I mean, it's caused not only division with the Democrats. Now the Democrats are demanding it, but now MAGA is infuriated. They're demanding it. Do you think there's a tactic here? Do you think there's a method to the madness, or do you think this is just, oop, we fumbled the ball, we don't care, I'm on the list, I'm in trouble? Because Elon did come out and say Trump was on the list.
Yeah, Elon was one of the fire starters in this case. So my definition of a politician is someone who says whatever the public want to hear to get the votes and then does the complete opposite when they get in power. We shall judge them not by their words, but by their actions. Yes, Trump did some great stuff, signing the executive orders, getting rid of the woke BS, and the freedom of speech stuff that he signed. I think that the platforms have loosened up. I've noticed it personally. It's gave me extra job security. But as David Icke described, and we've interviewed him 6 times, the scope of what the politicians are allowed to change, you could fit it on a postage stamp. The other issues, war, releasing the Epstein files, exposing the intelligence agencies, etc., are beyond the scope of these politicians. They are just actors. And that reality is coming crashing down now as people are seeing not only is the Trump and his crew rejecting the Epstein stuff, they've just rearmed Ukraine. They're setting up for a huge war in the Middle East. They're doing the complete opposite of what they said, and we are seeing their actions unfold real time. And that is why so many people.
And then Netanyahu's also giving Trump or nominating him for a Nobel Peace Prize. You see this? I don't know how you get that. You're arming Ukraine and bombing Iran, you get a peace prize.
Well, Obama got it, didn't he? And he specialized in bombing wedding parties in Afghanistan and drone assassinations and stuff. So,
I mean, so let me ask you this. I mean, with what you're seeing right now with the investigations taking place with Comey, Tulsi Gabbard coming out saying we have whistleblowers on deck, you're kind of in the camp or in the lane that's like, I won't believe it until I see it. Until I see the arrests and I see these people going down, I don't believe it.
Look at the level of society the people Epstein compromised. We had a call-in show the other night, and we were just asking people to put names on that list, the highest profile list. You've got Bill Clinton, you've got Prince Andrew, you've got Ehud Barak, you've got Leslie Wexner, and on and on and on it goes. These are the billionaire class. Leon Black transferred, over 100 million to Jeffrey. That's where a lot of his wealth come from. Leslie Wexner gave him this property, that the most valued property in that area of New York, fully equipped with cameras. We interviewed Juliette Bryant, who was in these properties. She ended up in the control room of one of the properties, where the guy running it showed her all the screens where everybody was getting recorded on. And now they're telling us they've got none of this to release to the public. Absolute BS. They've got everything, David.
What did Pam Bondi said? They were going through tens of thousands of video. They were combing through it, and it was really, really bad. So we know they got that. But just because you're on the Epstein list, from the way I understand it, doesn't mean you were going there messing with kids. You could have been going to a dinner. You could have been. Doesn't mean you're necessarily guilty, correct?
Yeah, I mean, when the Black Book first came out, a la Nick Bryant, and a huge thank you to Nick, he was on my channel yesterday. I was calling all of the numbers in the book, like Mick Jagger and everybody. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of people.
Calling them?
This is how my YouTube channel went nuts. I was live streaming, calling through the Black Book. But I got shut down, didn't I, over that?
So, I mean, most everybody was, anybody who's anybody was on the list. I mean, but that's still, I can understand the camp saying, well, we can't just throw everyone under the bus because not everyone was guilty. Not everyone was messing with children, right? Like it looks like Trump loved beautiful young women. Doesn't mean that they were underage, correct?
So Trump had a relationship with Jeffrey for over 10 years, and they fell out over a property deal. So Jeffrey was bidding 36 million for a property, and he brought Trump in to give him advice. And Trump went behind his back and bid 40 million and got the property and sold it 2 years later for more than double the price to a Russian oligarch. So Jeffrey then took that to the media. But before that, they were both in pursuit of women and power and money and success and fame. So they had a close relationship for over 10 years, a lot closer than Trump would like to admit. I'm not saying that. Go on. So
then you're telling me like that's really what they're hiding here? You think is how close Trump really was with Epstein?
So I think they are hiding, and Pam Bondi touched on it. She said it would be catastrophic for society if the public knew what was in these files. Because if you've got the prime ministers, the top of industry, people like Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, all these guys compromised on film, the people that society has looked up to for years, and it's completely bipartisan. So both parties have acted in their best interests to cover this stuff up. Then everything we have been led to believe in since childhood would completely unfold, and then people would be grabbing their pitchforks. So it is that huge what is being hidden right now, that neither party dare release it to its full extent. And they've been instructed from above, from the people who control the governments. Like I said, these politicians are just actors. You've got the dynastic banking families that have got the real power over this. They have the shareholdings in big oil,
I mean, you got
big
names like Prince
pharma.
Andrew. You got big names on here, and you probably got Israel connections. I mean, the whole world's connected on this.
Well, Ari Ben Menashe said basically Robert Maxwell brought his daughter into the fold of Israeli intelligence, and Jeffrey was brought in. Ari didn't like Jeffrey, but Robert pushed him in, ahead with him and his daughter. So he thinks that Mossad and Israeli intelligence was the biggest driver in this. And if you look at the other connections like Wexner, Dershowitz, I mean, Dershowitz has been campaigning for the age of consent to be reduced to 15 years
Yeah,
old,
that's right.
irregardless of the age of the adult the person is going with. It's absolutely obscene. Now, one of the things that that Trump is trying to do, just to throw some red meat, well, phase 2 of the Epstein files. Remember phase 1? That
Yeah,
they thought that
grand
was red
jury.
meat. It was just condescending crap. Well, if they do release the paperwork pertaining to Maxwell, they're going to find out that amongst the 3 allegations Virginia made about Prince Andrew, there was the one in the property in the States, there was the one at the house in London that I doorstepped, and then there was the one on the island where there was a PDF party, let's just say, PDF file party, involving Maxwell, involving Jean-Luc Brunel, who was the second in command procurer for Jeffrey. Jeffrey boasted he slept with over 1,000 girls from the Jean-Luc Brunel East European pipeline. He also boasted that Jean-Luc Brunel had provided him 12-year-old triplets and praised them for their oral skills. So anyway,
Whoa.
this is all in the paperwork. If Pam Bondi does release it, we will see. There's going to be some heavy redactions. So she also alleged that Prince Andrew, Jean-Luc Brunel, and Jeffrey in this pool, nude, with these girls, East Europeans, underage, were doing these things to them, and also joking while they were doing it that they were the easiest ones to do these things to because they were East European and they didn't speak any English. And that's all in the legal paperwork.
And they were 12 years
No,
old?
there was 12-year-old triplets were provided by Jean-Luc Brunel from East Europe as a birthday present. And Jeffrey boasted, he thanked Jean-Luc Brunel and boasted how good the oral skills were.
Damn. So what's the bigger national security threat here? Protecting these people because the infrastructure could just fall apart, or having predators walk the streets? I mean,
So
having these
if you look
predators out, I mean, that's the bigger national security threat to me.
if you look at the work of Whitney Webb and Ryan Dawson, they've done meticulous research going back to Operation Paperclip, the importation of the Nazis, and the inception of honey traps in the intelligence agencies, then they justify it as in being in the interest of national security. For example, the MK Ultra program, they found that if they traumatize kids, and that's trauma of a certain nature that I'm not going to say, that they can create assassins, they can create memory loss, they can program these people to do things. So the CIA had all of these evil experiments they were doing on their own people. And we had interviewed Kathy O'Brien recently. She was put in the program, and then her own daughter was put in the program, but she managed to get out of it. So they justify it as being in the interest of national security, because if they ain't one step ahead of the communists, then the communists are going to start taking over South America, Monroe Doctrine, next thing, domino effect, and the communists are going to be knocking on America's doorstep. That's how they justified it, going back decades to the end of World War II and the Cold War. So they still believe that these kids can be sacrificed, their well-being can be sacrificed, because it is worth it to protect the larger demographic.
Do you think that maybe there's a chance as these arrests come? With Obama and Brennan and Comey that are being investigated right now, do you think maybe the list could be being used for some kind of leverage behind the scenes? I mean, we did see Stephen Colbert step down from late night, and then Trump put out a truth post saying You know, Jimmy Kimmel's next. I mean, what's something has to be going on behind the scenes here. There, a
Yeah,
blind man can see this. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
my thoughts, because you mentioned Comey. So whenever something needs covering up or the blow needs softening, for example, in the Diddy case, the fix is in when the Comeys appear or when a certain coroner appears, such as Fahmy Malek that the Clintons used, who, if you've been shot in the head, he would say you drowned in a swimming pool. So with the Comeys, there becomes a point in a legal case when it gets into the news that the public interest spikes and justice has to appear to have been served. So, for example, when Roger Clinton got caught buying the white powder from an undercover cop, and he mentions to the undercover cop, some of this was from my brother Bill, he's got a nose like a vacuum cleaner. The undercover cop knew if he just went back to the station and filed it, Roger Clinton would be walking out through the exit within hours because the Clintons would come down full force and get him released. So he put it in the public domain right away. The Clintons had to have a crisis meeting and they decided the best possibility, the best outcome for this, never let a good crisis go to waste, was to show the public we're not above the law, that Roger Clinton has been busted, and he's going to have to go through the judicial process. With Diddy, the public interest was so high. The fix was in from the get-go. They brought Comey in, didn't they? So the defaced serial numbers on the guns charge disappeared. It was the worst prosecution in the history of prosecutions. You know, they completely overcharged Diddy when they could have gone after much lesser charges and got him found guilty and got a higher sentence than the slap on the wrist that was the ultimate outcome.
How much
So
is
what
it?
I'm saying,
Go ahead.
what I'm saying here is it's all a manipulation. It's all rigged. The media's in on it. 6 or 7 ginormous corporations control mainstream media, and these cases they're made to look like justice is being served, but the characters like the Comeys, Fahmy Malek, Baden, they come in and the blow is completely softened to the person who's probably a Fed. Diddy was probably an informant for the Feds, and he can pull that in just like Jeffrey's first sweetheart deal. Acosta, he's another one. Get Acosta in. It's above my pay grade. Jeffrey's for intelligence. So how can that come down? So many years ago, and now we're being told Epstein's not intelligent. It's a conspiracy. Nothing to see here. Move along.
So, do you think that this whole, I'm gonna share the screen here real quick. So, when Trump posts something like this, do you think we should take it serious, or do you think it's just bread and circus, a bunch of hoopla? It's not going to mean anything. When he posts on his True Social, all roads lead to Obama. Retruth if you want public military. It says here tribunals at the very bottom. A lot of people got on Trump about this. I've been told it's very serious. This is going military. It's not going to go through the conventional judicial process. Um, what's your thoughts on that? I don't think he's a madman just, trolling. I think he's serious as a heart attack on this. And I think the Epstein thing is like baseball trading cards. You give me this card, I'll give you that card. And then I think what we're going to see are the narrative wars taking off right now, and arrests begin probably by fall or spring of next year, just my opinion. And this will go military. You don't see it that way, correct?
So I agree with you that the Russiagate hoax should be prosecuted to the fullest extent. I believe that the Hunter Biden laptop should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent. They are valid cases of huge corruption. The amount of money that was spent on Russiagate, it was preposterous that they foisted that onto the public. But do we see Hunter Biden behind bars, serving time with the Aryan Brotherhood prison gang right now, having to kick, having?
I would love to see that. I would love to see that, man.
Do you think we're going to see the Obamas kicking it with
I
the
mean, I
black
see your
gang
point. I
on a-
guess
on a-
maybe
on a
I'm
prison?
remaining hopeful. I mean, no, I mean, from my understanding, it'd be going to Gitmo. It'd be a lot different circumstances for him. It's treason. That's also what Tulsi is bringing to the table. It almost seems like Trump also has a personal vendetta against Obama. Now I've been told with the guests that I've had on my show that many times over that it's coming. They've been over the target about 90% of the time, Shaun, on a lot of things. Now, you're right. You have every reason to believe, man, that this will be a big nothing burger and he'll get away scot free, just like he'll get a slap on the wrist like Diddy. But from what my guests are saying is no, this is going military. This is how it has to happen. And that's why when I showed that tweet that Trump put up, could he be trading baseball cards to get Obama? Could be, and what's going to happen if he is hunting Obama? Civil unrest, civil war. I mean, BLM is going to come out like gangbusters. MAGA is going to come out with their pitchforks. It could cause massive civil unrest or civil war. I think it's coming. I mean, me personally, I do believe it's coming, but it's going to cause so much division and polarization in the country, more than what we even have right now, that I think could it be? Maybe this is what they want. You know what I mean? Like maybe this is the perfect recipe of civil war. Maybe that's what they want. The hand that controls it all. Maybe that's what they want. Am I honest?
Well,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah. Obama is a cardboard cutout CIA creation.
Right.
There's nothing authentic about the Obamas at all. And I would love to see them behind bars. And you do see that these people are used sometimes. And when they are no longer of use, they are hung out to dry, or the public is at least allowed to vent upon them when they are no longer of use to the globalists. So, how far they're going to allow it to go, I'm not sure. Him being a president, how far they will go. I mean, look at Clinton. All of the cases of R-wording and essaying women when he was a coked up governor of Arkansas, documented cases, Jennifer Flowers, etc. These women signed NDAs. Trump brought them to the debate with Hillary, even though they couldn't speak, they were just sat there glowering at her. But, Clinton, I don't think he's ever going to do a day behind bars for any of that. He's got away with so many things that any of the rest of us would get SWAT team for. He locked up a record amount of non-violent drug offending women while he was in power, while he had a addiction to the white powder so strong that he was hospitalized allegedly for damage to his nose. And Hillary went down to the hospital and told all the staff, if you ever talk about this to anyone, you will not get employed for as long as you live. People should read Compromised by Terry Reid, who was a co-pilot with Barry Seal, bringing the kilos into Arkansas under Bill Clinton's state security protection. And he exposes Bill Clinton's drug use. The other thing is, one thing about Maxwell as well that I forgot to tell you earlier, because Trump is now saying there's no client list and there's nothing to see here, and it's being confirmed by Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, Glenn Maxwell has been trying to get released under the sweetheart deal. Jeffrey's first sweetheart deal stated that 4 named co-conspirators and other unnamed co-conspirators, if Jeffrey abides by the plea bargain, can never be prosecuted by the feds. So that has been getting shut down because the judges have been saying that that was just one federal jurisdiction. It doesn't apply to all of them. But now what she's going to say is, if there's no client list, there was no one for me to be transporting these kids to.
Right.
So I should not be behind bars.
And this lady was operating planes and submarines.
Oh yeah, she speaks 5 languages. She can pilot little submarines, and steeped in intelligence from her father, Robert Maxwell, who's so proud of her, named his yacht after that he died of. And when he died, mainstream media said he'd just fallen overboard. He was taking a piss or something, and he went overboard. Her first interview, she said there was no way that he did that, and he was hugely indebted to Israel and the Mossad. And in the book, The Assassination of Robert Maxwell, they theorize that he had leaned on Israel a bit to get him out of his pyramid of debt. And he'd already stole the pension money from the Mirror Group newspapers. And he was still short of money to pay off his debt. And he was leaning on Israel. He was becoming a menace and they sent a frogman, and next thing he's floating off the shore. I think it was the Canary Islands, after Lady Galen.
So, if this does, if this does take place, if this does get legs and run, because I mean, I just showed the picture of Tulsi. What Obama did was treason. I mean, this would have to go military. Even with those type of allegations, you think he'll be able to get out of this? Even with treasonous allegations, concocting the whole Russia hoax. I mean, that's treason. I mean, that's serious punishment by life in prison or death. You think he'll still get out of this? He'll escape out of this free?